We know what's going on with the Bengals. We've been talking about it for like 2 months now. Trey Hendrickson needs a new contract. They're not going to give it to him. He wants to be traded. They're not going to trade him. He's holding out. First round rookie, Shamar Stewart, drafted 17th overall. They're trying to put in a clause in his contract that would allow them to void all of his guaranteed money if something happened, versus the void being applied to just 1 year. He doesn't want to do it. His agent doesn't want to do it. They're basically trying to do this for all of their rookies moving forward. They don't want to be the guinea pig. So Shamar Stewart also holding out. They asked him about it yesterday.
He was very candid.
Here's his response. It's about a minute long. And I cut out the bullshit, but here's what he said.
Have they given you any answers as to why they're choosing this year and you to set a new precedent?
If I really wanted to say, I can't say what I really want to say, but it's their contract. They can do what they want with it. Like some people say, we all agree Trey will be right? But technically he's still 1% wrong for being under contract. So in my case, I'm 100% right. So it should be a no-brainer. And in Trey's case, I think it should be a no-brainer too. I mean, he led 17.5 sacks for 2 years back-to-back. If I was the GM or I was the owner, take all my money. But I guess they don't operate like that. But
have you talked to Trey at all?
I talked to him the last time he was here, but other than that, no. I'm always ready to go. I've been staying ready to go. I mean, it's my job now. I got no choice but to be ready to go. Okay,
so there's a lot to talk about here, and Bengals fans, I'm so sorry you can't have a normal offseason. I'm sorry. This is just the fandom that you have decided to be a part of. Can be very exciting. Joe Burrow. But there's always going to be some turmoil in the offseason. Let's talk about the Trey Hendrickson aspect of it real quick and what Shamar Stewart is saying. So he's basically saying that Hendrickson is still 1% in the wrong for holding out because he is under contract, right? He currently has a contract with the Bengals. He would like more money. He would like an extension. And that's what they've been working on for the past, or not working on for the past however many months. We've been going on for a while now. Shamar Stewart is not under contract. He refuses to sign the contract because of what Perna was talking about is basically the Bengals are trying to sneak in a clause because let me just be very clear. So the collective bargaining agreement that came up with the NFLPA and the NFL, that sets the total amount of money, so basically for the majority of the first round now, it's fully guaranteed. However, the actual language of the contract can still be edited by the teams. And as Perna was talking about, basically what they wanted to do is if they needed to, they could default the entire contract rather than just the year where Shamar Stewart didn't play or something didn't go well. So at this point, Shamar Stewart's well, I don't want to be the guinea pig for this new clause in which you're trying to, if something happens, you could default the rest of the contract and all the guarantees. That would be a big old problem because then I would be screwed and I'd be out of money. So now it's a matter of it's a standoff between Shamar Stewart, who still hasn't signed. He's showing up to camp. He's just not participating in any of the drills. He's sitting there on the sideline the entire time. But he refuses to sign anything because he's why are you trying to pull this stuff with me? Just give me the normal contract and how it's been forever.
Yeah, it's a way to not pay. Yes. It's just another way for a team to screw over a player. And they're we don't want to be a part of that. It's petty. It's stupid. And the fact that the Bengals won't just change it it's so dumb. It is so dumb and unnecessary.
It's crappy on a couple different levels, right? Because from the Bengals perspective, they're hey, we want to make sure that we protect our money, what have you, which I'm not really going to get behind. That's just
for a rookie contract. You're talking about contract, minimal cap savings that are going to come into play in 2 or 3 years, possibly.
Well, I think the ultimate issue is that this is the Bengals. They got mocked for the whole saga with T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, but then they did the right thing and they signed those guys, right? They gave them some nice contracts. Jamar Chase, they kept their word, paid him a crap ton of money. And then it felt like that was so short-lived because then the Trey Hendrickson thing happened and now the Shamar Stewart thing happened. And there's additional context here is because when Shamar Stewart was drafted, there was already a bunch of people were already hesitant if you're a Bengals fan because his production in college was not the best. I looked at Shamar Stewart a lot for the Packers and it was like, all right, this is a prototypical guy that we usually draft, insanely athletic, one of the best athletes in the draft, but the production isn't there. And so now you were already hesitant for him to be drafted, and now he still hasn't signed it. And now it's, of course, caught national media. It seems like it's just distractions, and it's an issue that is self-made. And we're not even just talking about Trey Hendrickson now. Now we're talking about another pass rusher. It's just like, what are we doing out here?
They have 0 pass rushers at the moment. None.
Yeah.
It's an easy thing to rectify.
I just think that this is not the hill to die on.
No, it's not even contract. Close.
It's not it.
A rookie contract is the most manageable and team-friendly thing there is. And the Bengals are trying to make it just a little bit more in their favor.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm glad I don't have to deal with that as a fan. It's a problem.
I think it's because it's like I'm not going to compare the two, but it's kind of like Josh Allen and the Bills, right? You have, and like Joe Burrow's a superstar quarterback. So like he can, even with all the problems of the defense last year, even though they had the slow start, like that offense is talented enough. Joe Burrow is talented enough that they're able to kind of uplift it and solve. As a Packers fan, I saw this for years when the Packers had 0 defense and they had Aaron Rodgers, right? So here, I feel like their Super Bowl's tough, but I don't think anyone wanted to play the Cincinnati Bengals if they made the playoffs last year because they were getting hot, at the right time. And of course, they just didn't make the playoffs. But, I think that they're going to be a pain in the ass team. And as long as they have Burrow and Chase and stuff, like they're always going to be competitive. But this seems to just be taking away from it because the argument that's been made about the Bengals is that, yes, they re-signed T. Higgins, they re-signed Jamar Chase, but their team is relatively the same.
Yeah.
Right. From where it was last year. And again, I think they still could have been a playoff. They were very close to being a playoff team. And if they get off to a hot start this year, I wouldn't be surprised if they make it. But
their only chance to make it is if they have Shamar and Trey Hendrickson on the field for them on defense. If not, they're putting all the pressure on their offense. They're not a balanced team. And even if they make the playoffs, it's not going to go well. Mm-hmm. You need those guys out there. It's funny, too, because like we know this about the Bengals. Mm-hmm. This has been going on since Carson Palmer, Andrew Whitworth's talked about it. And so just as a comp, right? You have Trey Hendrickson not showing up. He wants a new contract. You have TJ Watt not showing up for the Steelers. They're in contract talks as well. Nobody is freaking out about TJ Watt not being there for the Steelers because everybody assumes they're going to get that deal done.
Yeah.
They're freaking about Trey Hendrickson because everybody assumes they're going to fuck that shit up.
Sure.
Like that's the difference between what an organization like the Steelers has done historically, how they've treated players, their perception versus where the Bengals are at.
So Richard, so again, you can make this argument all long day. And I think you could make a pretty good argument. My point is that from the organization standpoint, they did the right thing and they paid their guys, which is not usually what the Bengals do. So people like, I know this doesn't mean anything, right? But they got like a bunch of social credit because it was like, oh man, they did the right thing and they paid everybody. But now here we are with Trey Hendrickson and now here we are with Shamar Stewart. And I feel like with Stewart, there was already some inherent risk in drafting him and him just not see, like he needs to be developed into an NFL player, right? Just like all these guys do. But especially for the lack of production, there was already like, oh, okay, like I really hope they could develop him. He ain't getting developed right now. He's standing on the sideline over this. And you can make an argument about Shamar Stewart of just like signing it and what have you. I personally don't agree with that because I think it's just, hey, like stop playing. This should be a done deal. You take this clause out if this is the only thing that's a problem, that you're not going to default the rest of his contract if something happens, then you just do that. You can sign him to a 5th-year option. You could do a number of things, but I don't know, man. It just seems like this is the wrong hill to die on.
Yeah, they could have gotten insane value for T. Higgins. They should have traded him is what they should have done.
Yeah, you can make that argument because then you could assign Trey and you can bolster up that defense a little bit.
Or you should have traded Trey. Yeah. Or they should still trade. They should trade Trey right now.
But that's the problem. And I think that the Bengals are in a spot Okay, let me ask you right now as we sit here on June 11th. Do you think Trey Hendrickson is playing for the Bengals this upcoming season? I think he is.
Are you asking if they don't pay him, do you think he'll play through his contract?
I'm assuming they're going to pay him.
Yeah, I don't know.
The reason I say that is because if they don't, unless they get some insane trade value, like it has to be like a first round pick, right? But even if it is, I feel like they missed the boat. They needed that capital now because they were like to trade him before the draft because, dude, you don't have Trey Hendrickson. That's a huge piece of your defense.
Yeah.
And like, even if Shamar Stewart is good right out of the gate, I don't think he's replicating that kind of production.
No. 17 sacks? No.
He ain't doing that. So I think a guy who had problems.
I think Trey will hold out. I think,
he just holds out completely.
I think he will. I don't think he's messing around. I hope. Well, because I don't know. I really don't know what's going to happen. I hope the Bengals just pay him. He's earned it. It makes the most sense for them. They might not be in the best cap situation in a year or two or whatever, however it shakes out, but like just pay him. Even if he drops it to like 12 sacks, it's still pretty good.
Yeah.
Still consistent QB pressures. Like you need that.
Theoretically, and you could double check me on this. If Shamar Stewart does not sign a contract, because that was the question I just saw. If he doesn't sign, if I'm not mistaken, like he goes back into the draft next year.
I don't know. Is that how it works?
Hold on. Yep, there you go. If they don't sign, they can re-enter the draft next season. And if they still don't sign with the team that picks them, they can enter free agency and potentially land a contract elsewhere. It's rare, but it does happen.
Ooh. Do it, Shamar.
Yeah. Man, can you
I hope the Bengals lose them both.
Can you imagine?
Lose them both.
So here you go.
Woo.
So if they don't sign, they can re-enter the draft next season. If they still don't sign with the team that picks them, they enter free agency and potentially land a contract elsewhere. It's rare, but it does happen.
I like it.
I mean, we saw this. Yes. So John Elway, right? He's like, good old John. Good old Johnny John. I don't want to sign no contract.